Hi and welcome to the first of CMP Studios breakdowns. And what I thought might be interesting for you is how I go from uh, one image and work through the stages until we end up with the final image. This piece was used by Cease to Exist, an industrial electro band, for some album art and is called The Guardian. It started off fairly simply, just as a beach shot. This was shot in the beach just down the road from me, and I'd already put in some mist. It was quite a normal day. There weren't many clouds, but I added some mist, always good for atmosphere. And this was the initial image that I used as a base. Of course, Control J your image whenever you start a project. Always make a duplicate so don't actually hurt the original. And just wanted to make it a little darker in the first stages. You'll see throughout this little video that all the changes are really incremental and they just give you an idea. And whilst you're doing that, it also builds an idea of where you're going. So I just wanted to give a little bit more definition to the mist. And then I introduced the first asset, which was my back door, which is in a great deal need of repair, but very good for this kind of surreal image where age and wear and tear is often part of it. So that's plonked right in the center, and the next few stages are all about trying to bed your assets into the initial image. So we give a little dark shadow underneath, and then we'll move through, and you'll see I've just added another part of the backdoor image. This was the stones that are just outside. It's a terrace. And then I'll build those in so as it looks like they've been washed over by sand. And once again, small changes just to make sure that it looks like it's part of the original image. We have some reflection and shadow within the image. You can see the stones reflect themselves and they keep their own color. And so I thought this was what was needed in the image just to make sure that the door looked like it was there. Whether it looks strange or not is by the by. Introduce the Guardian himself, which is of course me posing in my bedroom. We have a light on the left hand side, which is a simple window light in the bedroom. The ruffle collar I had for another shoot that I did in the studio, and some purple cloth. And the idea of making the face indescribable, as it were, and not a human face, just added to that mystery. It kept the identity away, and so people could attach to it more easily. Once again, bedding these assets in, so we give it a little color shadow. Take that down a bit, add a bit more, and then it was very important. The Guardian at the time looked as if he was just floating by the toes. I wonder if it'll do it for us. No. So a bit more work on the toes just to look like it's standing on those stones, making sure it's fitted within the image. I'll do a couple little more moves. As I've said earlier on, all these tiny moves are incremental and are to do with the main image itself, just to make it feel as if it is part of that image. It was standing out from the other part of the image. We had mist there. There was no mist, no blurring going on. So I added another layer of mist, which is just a simple paint layer, which I used a Gaussian blur to filter out. And then a little more down here in the right hand corner. So this begins also to blend in with the background image. I'll take down a little bit of color so as all the colors that are in the image are of a similar saturation, and then you can begin once again. It's all about this slow and steady build to reality. You'll see here I use threshold, which gives me a nice clean, easy readable black and white image, and I can turn that up or down on whichever asset I like to make sure that we get a similar feel between the assets, and they begin to look as if they belong together. The next stage is just to homogenize the whole image with a base color. Blue because of the ethereal qualities that were going to go on, and then the introduction, you can just about see it, the introduction of a light source within the image. When I'm happy that the images and the assets all feel as if they are part of the one image, I will then merge all layers and bring those down. Not only does that give me no way back really, and saves me fidgeting, it also changes the layers into an image, and I can use a light filter across, and which means I can really put down where I want the light source to come from, which I did at this time just to match where it was with the Guardian's image from the bedroom. A little darkness has been added to give it a vignette over this side in blue, and so we've got the complementary colours of the yellowy, orange, blue and the blue. Needed to lighten it up a little though. We were losing some definition. And then we have some colour toning, which just I needed to do to bring it out. We needed a dark image, but we still wanted to be able to see it. The next phase is, again, one of these tips and tricks to help an image stick itself together, and that's to add a texture. But as you can see, it took the image right down, and you can play with your percentages and bring that out. But I like the way that it may be interpreted as rain, it may be crackling of paint on an old painting. So I wanted to keep it at that level and just used other other ideas to bring it back out. We brought it back out again with a couple of curves layers and then a hue saturation layer. Just again, it's all about homogeneity, all about making the images work within each other. Need a little more of that darkness as I brought up the light on the left hand side. And as you can see in this one, I added what is very much a kind of directional ray of light. Seems to me a little strong at the moment. So we used more curves layers. Curves layers are your friends. To merge that in and not to lose the subject within it. And then finally, to pop it across, it's an orangey layer I've put on here, which gives it the idea of this fading old photograph. So those are the stages that you will go through. It would be interesting to see how you work, what kind of images you bring together. But from that kind of image, we go from the beach to the Guardian. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll leave Cease to Exist's Bandcamp link for the music that they used this image for. And if you have any comments, do by all means. Any questions, just drop them into the comments box. And of course, subscribe. Hopefully this will be the first of many such breakdowns.